Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the SATS Show, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. No, I did not get in a fight, okay? I did not get in a fight. As some of you guys may know, I practice a little sport called jiu-jitsu, and yesterday we're learning to escape from triangle chokes. And when you do that, sometimes there's a lot of friction between your face and the other guy's leg or arm. So that's what this is. It's a little damage to the face, but for good cause. So no need to call any authorities or anything like that. I didn't get jumped for my Bitcoin. No worries. All right. Welcome. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Garrett. What up, Garrett? Welcome. Today we're going to talk about what we always talk about, which is saving in Bitcoin, and with a little bit of a different slant. Okay. Preserve and grow your wealth by saving in Bitcoin. Okay. And some of you guys have already heard this, but I got a little bit of a different angle. I had an epiphany, I guess you could say, or a insight, like not something too crazy, but it was a good feeling to have. And I think I need to share that with you guys. So, and Garrett's kind of on the right track here. He says, I opened up a Swan account for my son and daughter. Perfect. Who are 18 and 21 and seeded it with a little bit of Satoshis. There you go. Perfect. So Garrett, what I would do is, it's great that you have the account on Swan. That's a mechanism for you to acquire Satoshis and to buy Bitcoin or fractions of a Bitcoin. Now, don't leave it on Swan. Okay, you gotta get that off of the exchange and put it into your own wallet. If you're using, for example, a wallet like a Trezor. Once you have your Trezor set up, within the Trezor software, it'll say like you'll have like a Bitcoin account, right? And you can have multiple Bitcoin accounts that are all linked to the same device and will all be you can recover them all with the same seed phrase. That way, if you wanted to have a specific section for like your stack, and then you can have another Bitcoin account within that same Trezor setup for like your son, and then another one for your daughter. And then what you do is you basically tag a incoming address with that account, and those accounts will be able to generate their own incoming wallet addresses. And when you open up your Trezor software, you'll see them listed on the left as like, okay, my main account, my son's account, my daughter's account, my grandma's account, all of these things if you're going to do it for other people in your family. It's kind of a nice way to keep track of it. That way it's not all on one account within your storage device, right? But you can do the initial move from exchange to your main account on your Trezor. And then from there, you can do another transaction to send it over to those other 2 accounts or 3 accounts, however you want to split it. But that's a kind of a fun way to keep track of those things, especially if you're starting to save for other people. So very cool. What up, Boise in the house? Round of applause from the live studio audience for the Boise, Idaho local guidesman. Smash that like. Thanks for coming in. And Leonard, what up, Leonard? Good to see you in here. Hope everything is good. Like I was saying, do not call the police. I'm okay. I didn't get beat up. I just got, it's just jiu-jitsu. Oh my God, like this. It's just jiu-jitsu, guys. It's just jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Where is it? Is there another one here? Yeah. Boom. I'm not getting beat up by anybody. Okay. I just fell. Watching the rain. Yeah, it's beautiful out there. It's beautiful watching the rain. It's every time it rains, I feel like having pho. Like the Vietnamese soup. It just warms my belly. All right, so that's the beginning of the show. Let's get into the first segment of the show that we like to call Set Strength. All right. And just like that. What the pho? That's amazing. I love it. What the fuck? All right, so today the price of Bitcoin is 43,066. It dropped a little bit, but then came back up before the show started. Dang it. So we're buying again the local top on the show. So, but it's good. It's good. I think we ended in the positive by a slight fraction for January, and now it's a new month. Happy February, everybody! It's gonna be a great month. We are a month closer to the halving. February, was it January, February, March, April? We're like 3 months, maybe. February, March, April. Yeah, about 3 months away from the halving, which will be another, which traditionally is a big, the beginning of the bull run, right? So if all the ETFs weren't happening and there wasn't all this additional demand, the halving would definitely kick off the demand. Okay, all right. So today you can buy 2,322 satoshis for a single dollar. What the heck is a satoshi? A satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin, just like a dollar is made up of 100 cents. A Bitcoin is made of 100 million satoshis. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. You can buy it in little increments, and whatever makes you comfortable, right? So it's still a very good deal, and very doable. All right, say you're walking down the street, minding your own business. You look down, you see a penny, you pick it up, and all the day you'll have good luck. But more importantly, you'll be able to afford 23 satoshis for a single penny. So very, very affordable, very affordable. Boise local guidesman says, Roman, why don't you do some more guest appearances? Maybe even some with your followers. That would be awesome. People can speak about their journey with Bitcoin. I'd love that. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'm open to more interviews. If anybody wants to get interviewed, let me know. Nobody is doing that. Everyone is doing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's no average Bitcoiner stories anymore. It's mostly all the same really intelligent people. And I'm not saying that not all people are real intelligent, but it's just the same real intelligent people that are in the business already and in the Bitcoin world. And they have their thesis that they're sharing, but most of it's already been heard by the majority of people in Bitcoin. So yes, it would be nice to hear everybody's new stories or everybody's different perspectives from different people on their Bitcoin journey. Yeah, grassroots, exactly. All right. So, but it's difficult, Boise, because some people don't want to be like docs. They don't want to show their face, right? But if people are willing to do it and you want to be interviewed on the show, we can do it. Let me know. We'll set it up. All right. So that was the SATS strength. Let's get into why we stack. Okay, so you should always be checking on your self-custody storage. You should log into it at least every couple weeks. I would say every couple of weeks, at least every month. You know, just to make sure your coins are all there. Just to make sure that your automatic deposits are working. If you're stacking with Swan, right? Because if you have it set up fully automated, and you have it to where it's buying $20, $10, $50 a day, a month, a week for you, then you have it set to automatically withdraw to your cold storage every 0.01 Bitcoin, then it's pretty much hands off. You don't have to do anything but continue working and funding that account that's funding your Bitcoin cost average account. And so sometimes you just forget about that stuff, right? But you gotta remember how to get into your device, how to keep that kind of fresh in your mind. And you want to go in there and make sure that those deposits are actually landing on your device and that there's no issue, right? And that everything is there, right? But you'll get into a flow, you get into a rhythm. And I was in my rhythm, in my flow of, I go and check my cold storage, just to make sure everything's good. I don't have any kind of alerts, any kind of thing that's telling me to go check because there might be an issue. No, I just check it periodically, right? And you can figure out what works for you best. But as I was checking it today, I thought to myself, because I have my actual cold storage, and I have like a sheet, like an Excel sheet where I track some stuff, and I'm keeping track of my savings and all that good stuff, like a family thing. And it was so nice to log into my cold storage and see the exact amount of Satoshis that I was expecting to see based on my documentation. There wasn't any hidden fees. There wasn't any maintenance fees. No expense, no leakage to my savings, right? Because this is what it is. Bitcoins is your savings. What up, BTC Moon Guy in the house? Round of applause from the live studio audience for BTC Moon Guy. We're talking about why we stack, guys. We're talking about why we stack Bitcoin and why we take self-custody. And that is one of the things that you kind of, it could seem as if it's not a big deal. You should expect your money not to disappear from your account, right? But could you say the same thing about the traditional banking system, right? If you don't have a certain number of units in there, a certain amount of monetary value in that account, they're gonna charge you a fee, right? If you don't have your checking account linked to your direct deposit, then they're gonna charge you a fee for not having your direct deposit linked to them, right? So it just goes to show you that idea shouldn't be so, I guess, shocking that you should be able to save something and expect it to still be there. Expect it to have the same amount or more purchasing power, right? It's pretty wild. So I thought it was a cool sensation or a cool feeling of logging into my cold storage device to just double check that everything is in order and seeing that not a single Satoshi is missing, that not a single Satoshi got taken by the system as a additional some kind of fee or like penalty for not having enough or for having too much or or whatever, right? Once it's in the Bitcoin system, it's good to go. It's canned wealth. Okay? It's leak proof. It's sealed. Right? It's not gonna spill. It's not gonna degrade a single Satoshi. Okay? And yes, I've only been in Bitcoin since like 2021. But in that time, I haven't lost a single Satoshi to fees or maintenance costs of the Satoshis that are already in my cold storage, right? So what I'm saying here is that nothing else on earth at this point can give you that certainty of not leaking any of your wealth. Not even a single sat, not even a single Satoshi, right? What is that? A fraction of a Bitcoin, right? Not even one. I didn't lose not even 1/23 of a penny from just holding my wealth in a Bitcoin wallet or Bitcoin wallets, whatever. Right? I didn't lose a single 1/23 of a penny of value. If anything, I gained value while it's being stored there, right? So it's like it's a hermetically sealed, canned wealth that also expands, right? That also grows. So that's as simple of an explanation I can give you as to why you would store your value, store your wealth in Bitcoin. So it's super powerful, I think, especially when you can log into your cold storage and see it firsthand and actually experience that, right? It's pretty wild. It's pretty cool. It actually motivates you to be productive and figure out ways to create good things for society that society is willing to pay you for, whether it's podcast streams, a product, whatever. When you know that whatever you invest your time in and create has the potential to earn you more money, but then you're going to take that money and put it into Bitcoin so that it preserves the value and maybe even increases the value, right? How could you not be motivated to do more things that society finds beneficial and is willing to exchange value for, right? So it motivates you to make things better for the whole world in essence, right? Whereas if you're working towards something, you do all the work and you get paid and you hold that fiat money, that government money, and slowly, without, not even slowly at this point, but you see the value of that kind of leach away as prices go up and inflation hits, right? Then all the value, all the extra work you've been doing is just kind of basically for nothing, because you still end up in square one with just enough purchasing power to survive, right? And you're having to work harder and harder to just maintain that same level, and starting to cut back on the quality of your life, because it's harder and harder to keep up with the inflation monster, right? Because that inflation monster, even though it sounds like a funny thing, that inflation monster doesn't play, okay? It doesn't care. What up, Mark? Welcome to the stream. Mark, this is a completely different topic than fishing, but you're very welcome to hang out. We're talking about saving in Bitcoin and how Bitcoin helps shield your wealth from inflation. Okay, let's do a real quick recap for Mark, since he's new to the stream, he's new to the show. Check in, Mark. Very good. And let me explain it real quick and give you a little like a brief overview on what Bitcoin is and why it's important to save some of your wealth in Bitcoin. Here we go. Okay. So real quick, the way that money works in society right now, the government can control how much of it gets printed, right? And the way, and also banks can control how much of it gets issued. Okay. So if you think of the money supply as like a pizza, we'll do the pizza example as like a pizza, right? And the whole money supply is represented by one pizza. Okay. And I have Leonard over at the house, and we ordered a pizza, and Leonard and I are going to split a pizza, right? And I usually get full with like 3 or 4 slices. Maybe Leonard can also do 3 or 4 slices. And let's say there's 8 slices on this pizza. So that's enough for both of us, right? But then all of a sudden, right, Boise shows up, and he brought his friend, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin, right? And so now we have 4 people and still that one pizza, right? Well, would it make sense for us to just go ahead and slice the pizza up even more, and that we have more slices of pizza, and we all get 3 or 4 slices each, right? You're going to have the same amount of slices. Sorry, you're going to have more slices of pizza, but each slice of pizza is now less satiating to your hunger, right? Because it's half of a slice, really. So where I used to have maybe 3 slices of pizza, now I have a slice and a half, right? Because everything got split in half, okay? So the number of units of pizza slices that I got is the same, but the hunger satiating power of my pizza after we split it is a lot less, right? So now take that same concept and apply it to the money that we use, okay? We work and we exchange our hard-earned, our life force, basically our time on this planet, our time in our lives. We agree with our employer, or if you're in a business of your own, you agree with who your customer is, that you're going to exchange a part of your life force, a part of your time on this earth, for a certain amount of money. It could be your salary, it could be a project, whatever. Okay? And the underlying trust there is that when you quote a job or when you agree on a salary, that amount of money at the time you negotiated represents the value that you're willing to accept for your life force, for your time on this earth. Okay? And so you get the job, or you do the contract and you get your money, paycheck, or you completed the job and you get paid for the job, however it works. And now your assumption is that after you paid your taxes for your income, after you paid your taxes for your purchase, your sales tax, after you paid your licensing tax to drive your car, after you paid your insurance, after all that, the money you have left from the hard work you did represents time that you invested into this thing you did, right, to get the money. And that money, you assume, is now yours to save or to spend on whatever you need to spend on, right? And so you assume also that money that you set aside is going to continue to be able to purchase the same amount of things in the future, right? So going back to how inflation works, okay, and the pizza example. If you have, we'll say, a certain amount of money, right? Your certain amount of money when you earned it represents a slice of the overall money pie, that is the US dollar. Okay. So as the US dollar inflates and expands in supply, like there's more dollars, right? Each time the money system expands, it's like adding another it's like adding another cut to the pizza. Okay. The pizza doesn't get bigger. The money doesn't get bigger. There's just more units of it. There's more pizza slices. Okay. So the money you earn and are trying to save in is getting devalued as the government prints more money and as banks issue more debt. Because when somebody goes out and gets a loan for a house or a car, that money just gets created out of thin air, and it's created in the form of a debt, right? And that money doesn't exist until the bank approves it, and that person goes and pays the guy for the house or for the car. Then it's real money when they go and cash the check that they used to pay for, right? So that's money creation. Also, when the government approves whatever they approve, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, whatever they approve money for, that money doesn't exist until they approve it, and they go and get that money basically created. And that also expands the money supply. That also creates more slices of the pizza. Okay. But what they're doing here is they create more slices in the pizza and leave you with the same amount of monetary units, the same amount of slices, but in the background, your slices are worth less and less. So your purchasing power gets stolen from you behind the scenes without you understanding it. Even if you save your money in cash in a mattress or you bury it in your backyard, it's not immune from inflation. They've made more monetary units, and by doing so, the value of your monetary units gets debased, and you can buy less and less things with the same amount of money. That's why it looks like the prices of things are always going up, right? That's why you see the price of a home that's 10 years old. Maybe it was worth, I don't know, 200,000. Now it's like $2 million, right? Or $1 million. That's what that is. It's a reflection of the dollar's purchasing power getting diluted. You need more and more weaker dollars to buy the same scarce assets. Okay. So all of that to bring it back to Bitcoin. Where does Bitcoin fit in? What does Bitcoin do for us? Okay. Well, Bitcoin, for the first time ever in the history of humanity, is capped at 21 million. There can ever only be 21 million Bitcoin, right? And each Bitcoin breaks down to 100 million Satoshis. So there's a lot of room there to buy. They represent Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a capped supply, so you can't inflate it like you can any government money or any other coin, right? So when you start to acquire Bitcoin, even if it's a fraction of a Bitcoin, that fraction of a Bitcoin that you start to acquire, I say save in, starts to behave the same way as if you had bought like a property in real life, like a house or something, right? With the exception that your Bitcoins and your SATs, your fractions of a Bitcoin, as long as you don't try to sell it right away, the gains on that are purely yours, and there's no cost of holding it once you already have it, right? Once you already have it, it's in your custody. There's no cost like maintenance, insurance, or repairs. Sorry, we got repairs, maintenance, insurance, taxes for just having it like you would actual real estate, right? And think of it as a digital form of real estate. That's a limited supply, and that's super important. That's a limited supply that cannot be inflated. Therefore, it's immune to inflation. Okay, so if you're planning to save for something in the future, like you're saving for a car down payment, a boat, down payment on a home, and you save in dollars, the whole time you're saving in dollars, you're losing value every day, pretty much every month, every week, because of inflation. Because the government continues to print money, and banks continue to issue debt, the money supply grows, the slices of the pizza keeps getting sliced more and more, and as the pizza gets sliced more and more, you're losing value, you're losing purchasing power on those savings that are being held in dollar units. Okay, so from there, what you do is you take the value that you earned right when you earned it, that you're gonna save for whatever you're gonna save for, whether it's retirement, a home, a car, whatever. You take that value and you move it into the Bitcoin, into Bitcoin, and now Bitcoin becomes your saving mechanism. And instead of that value getting sucked away from your savings via inflation in the dollar system, now the dollar system is kind of working for you, right? As the dollar system depreciates the dollar more and more, you need more and more of those weaker dollars to buy the same amount of Bitcoin that you already have in your account, and it'll look as if the value of your Bitcoin is going up, which it's really a reflection of the dollar weakening, right? So that's why we save in Bitcoin, and that is the premise behind this whole show. And I talk about it every day, Monday through Friday, here, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard, 3:30 Eastern. And yeah, there we go. That's a quick little primer. Now we're gonna show you what we've been doing here since last year in May. I started this show, and let's look into the stack recap, because we don't only talk about buying in Bitcoin and stacking Bitcoin, we actually do it here on the show every day. So let's look at our current position. Okay, see browser. Yeah, Mark, it's a crazy concept, and by design, we're not motivated to look into this because A, we're told not to talk about finances around people because it's bad etiquette, right? And B, everybody believes it's hard to get over the fact that the money that we work so hard for is actually designed to steal from us and keep us poor and keep us working, so that you have to work longer and longer in your life and have nothing in the end, right? That sucks. Bitcoin is how we end that slavery mechanism. Bitcoin is how we end that, and how we leave something for our descendants in the future. Okay? All right. So, we started the show back in May 2023. We started with $5 a day, then moved it up to $10 a day, and now we're doing $20 a day, Monday through Friday. Our stack is currently at 13 million Satoshis. A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. It takes 100 million Satoshis to get to one Bitcoin, just like it takes 100 cents to get to $1. What up, Mikwam? It's been a while, dude. Thanks for tuning in. I'd like to see you in here. Mikwam, welcome back. Since the beginning of the show, we've accumulated 0.1323618 85 Bitcoin, and we've spent $4,565 to accumulate it. And in today's value for the same amount of Satoshi, the same amount of Bitcoin, is $5,685. So we're up about 25% since the beginning of the show. Okay, so let's say I was saving for something that was $5,000, right? And I had been saving since May. Well, I already hit my savings goal. I can already afford that thing I'm saving for, right? If I was saving in dollars, I would still not be there to my target. Okay, so Bitcoin makes your targets closer to you. Okay, so yeah, exactly. And there's a whole lot of other implications, Mark, that affect the price of Bitcoin and the case for it. But there's so many to go over in this short show. The best thing you can do if you want to get interested, if you want to get more into it and start to understand it, is I would say join the Discord server. I have a whole list. I have another Discord server, Mark, up for just the Stack Stats show, and I have a list of things of resources for somebody that's new to kind of go through like a series of videos. They're not my videos; they're other videos that from YouTube that are great explainer videos, and it'll give you a better idea of how Bitcoin fits into society and how it'll benefit society in the long run. J-Dub in the house. What up, J-Dub? Round of applause from a live studio audience for J-Dub. Our Discord is let's see, exclamation point. Discord. It's a little lonely in there. We don't have that many people in there, but I want to have just the right amount of people. No poop coining, no selling stuff in there. Only talking about Bitcoin and keep it positive. Those are the only rules in there. Okay, so no poop coining. All right. So this is our current stack cumulative, and we started tracking again in 2024 with a fresh sheet, starting with $20 a day. Okay, the rules for stacking are as follows. If the price of Bitcoin is below our average buy price, we'll do a double stack, which is $40. If the price of Bitcoin is above our average buy price, we'll only do $20. If the price of Bitcoin is below our all-time lowest price in 2024, we'll do a quadruple stack, which is $80. Okay, today the price of Bitcoin is 42,984, and our average buy price is 43,188. So today we're doing a double stack. Double stack today. Double with cheese, please. Okay, now that we figured out the rules and you guys know where we're at, there's only one thing left to do. It's time to stack some mother-loving sats. That's right. That's right. Okay. Whoa. Ah, dang it. All right, I have to log into my Swan account real quick, guys. Give me a second. I thought I was gonna be okay with it. All right, let's see if I can do it before the song ends. Oh, the Discord's not working? Give me a second. I'll check the link in a second. Let me just log into this account. Okay, almost there. Gotta get all my security checks done. This. Man, the anxiety of like the authentication is so funny. Okay, here we go. And we're in there. Okay, here we go. So we're doing a $40 buy today. And Boise, we'll fix it in a second. Let me get through this part, and we'll do that during the questions section. Okay, $40 worth of Bitcoin today. And let me get the preview going. Preview. And purchase this here. Boom. Copy that. And today's episode 152. Just like that. All right. The purchase has been set up. Let's check it out in the browser. I'm using Swan Bitcoin to stack. Oops. Swan Bitcoin to stack. And there it is. And if you want to check out Swan, you can do so by going to an affiliate link we have here. When you sign up through Swan, you'll get $10 worth of free Bitcoin once you have your account set up, and I think you make your first purchase. But yeah, it's like a free DCA. All right. So let's hit the drum roll. Buying $40 worth of Bitcoin today live during the show. How many drum rolls will it take for this purchase to go through? Let's see. Here we go. Rolling. One more drum roll going through. Let's see. Come on. Come on, you can do this. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Not happening. One more roll. One more drum roll. We'll give it one more drum roll. Four seconds. No. All right. We'll just call it. We'll call it bot, and we'll come back and check on it in a second once it goes through. But let's do the next step of the show, which is update our spreadsheet with today's buy, with a little chill music in the background, because after you stack, you chill. Okay. Once you've purchased some Bitcoin and have started saving in Bitcoin, you need to move it from your exchange, which is, for example, Swan or whatever exchange you use, to a wallet that you control, to a self-custody wallet. And if you're new to the game, I'll explain that to you in other episodes. And as people come through and need these different steps explained, we'll cover those steps slow and steady. And that way we all get to reinforce our education, our Bitcoin learning, and practice good Bitcoin hygiene. And we'll cover those as needed. Okay. So first step is to go start accumulating Bitcoin, start buying Bitcoin, and start protecting your wealth from inflation, and basically you're keeping it outside the grasp of any government or institution or anything if you have it in your own custody. Okay. All right. So let's update the spreadsheet with today's buy. We bought today, February 1st. The first buy of February is 4. We bought at 43,201. Okay. And we spent $40. And that got us 0.000911664. And that is 91,664 Satoshis, or 0.000911664 Bitcoin. Remember, Satoshis are like pennies are to the dollar. Okay. So Satoshis are in fact Bitcoin. Just like a penny, a nickel, a dime, and a quarter are different names, but the currency is still US dollars. Okay. Same thing, a Satoshi is like a penny for a Bitcoin, and you need to accumulate 100 million Satoshis to have one whole Bitcoin. Okay. All right. So our show stack for 2024, we're almost to 2.5 million Satoshis for the year, for the new year. So in a month. And we've spent $1,040 to earn these Satoshis. And the value of them is, we're up about $4. Boom, up about $4. Killing it. Okay. This is just in a month. Okay. This is let's just say January wasn't the best, but in the long run, in the long term, if you look at Bitcoin in any 4-year cycle, it's pretty much it's in positive. Okay. So let's go back to the main show stack, the big show stack, which includes 2024 and 2023. And we're going to update this data here too, so we have a better picture of what it looks like. Boom, boom. All right. And real quick, I just want to make this last point before we move on to the Q&A section. Especially if you're new to the stream, it's your first time here, make sure you hit that like, make sure you subscribe, and let me show you the one thing, the other thing that's really important for us to visualize what's happening with the economy. If you didn't understand everything I said at the beginning of the show with the money supply and the pizzas and all that stuff, this will help you visualize it and explain it to you a little bit easier, okay? When we look at things in terms of dollars, it would appear as if prices are not changing, right? As you can see from my example here, my burrito index My favorite burrito is carne asada burrito with beans, cheese, and sour cream. They usually end up charging me extra for like the sour cream or the cheese, but it's never like the straight up burrito cost. They charge me always a little bit extra. So I know that my burritos are expensive and they charge me $13.70. I started tracking the price of my burritos in October, and at the time of purchase, so October 3rd, 2023, according to the price of Bitcoin that on that date, my burrito cost me $13.70 in dollars. But if I would have paid in Satoshis on the Bitcoin standard, my burrito would have cost me 49,603 Satoshis. Okay. Well, fast forward in time, and the last time I bought a burrito was on the 7th of January. And although the price in dollars has remained the same, my burrito actually cost me less in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of Satoshis. Okay. Instead of costing me 49,600 Satoshis, it cost me 31,309 Satoshis. That's like a 30% discount, right? For doing absolutely nothing but just saving in Bitcoin. Okay. So you take that same example and you can extrapolate it along anything you want to buy, or anything you buy on the regular. It could even be your car payment. It could even be your house payment. When you save in the Bitcoin standard, as the price of Bitcoin goes up, the cost of things in terms of dollars goes down, and you need less and less Satoshis to buy the same things that you had to buy in the past to maintain your current lifestyle, right? So what does that mean? What does that actually mean? It means that when you save in Bitcoin, it means this. Let's say that you're not saving in Bitcoin and you're just working, and you're constantly working harder and harder, maybe taking a second job, maybe a second job and an Uber on the side to make more and more cash so that you can maintain your level of lifestyle that you're comfortable with, but you're having to work a whole lot more for the same stuff, right? And what is that? It's because the money's stealing from you, right? And it's hard to pinpoint that unless somebody sits you down and tells you about it, right? Or you go on the search and you find the solution, right? But that's what's really happening. The money's devaluing. You're working harder and harder for money that buys less and less things. Okay? So real simple fix. Take the value of the money you're working for, move it into a different system that actually builds wealth against the dollar. And now, instead of having to work harder and harder to maintain your same lifestyle and constantly being underwater and barely struggling to stay ahead, now your money's working for you, which is what it should be doing in the first place. It should be a store of value that doesn't leak any value, right? That's what I'm saying. You preserve and grow your wealth, right? You take that wealth that you're creating by working, by being productive for society, and you can that and into a vessel that's not going to leak. If anything, it's going to continue to grow because it's inflation resistant, right? And as everything else inflates, it's actually going to raise the value of your holding. Okay. So what does that mean for you? And ultimately it means that you'll have more time to do whatever it is you want to do, right? It's going to get to the point where you save so much in Bitcoin that the value of that Bitcoin you saved will be so much that you can choose at that point to continue to do the work that you want to do, or maybe even switch career path without feeling that you're trapped in your current job because you can't handle being out of work for a couple of days or a week, right? Well, when you have enough Bitcoin saved up and the value of your Bitcoin goes above what you need to survive and to maintain your current lifestyle, right? You can choose at that point to live a happier life. Maybe you don't want to work, right? Maybe you want to just volunteer in a certain cause that you want to help and make the world a better place for that specific case, right? But you have time, right? The dollar system steals your time from you, right? You convert your time into money so that you can buy things, so you can enjoy your life and live a certain lifestyle. And the government slowly leeches that away from you through inflation, and they steal your time from you. So you have to go continue to put more time in to do the things you want to do. Well, when you save in Bitcoin, the opposite happens. Now the value the time that value represents, instead of being leached away from you, it's being multiplied for you. So then you'll start to have more and more free time, right? And you can maybe, if you want to go all in and continue to work as hard as you've been working and just save more and more sats, that's fine. That's up to you. But that's a choice you can make. It's a choice that you don't have maybe now, because if you don't go to work, your life's gonna fall apart, right? This is a way for you to get to your financial goals. This is a way for you to get ahead, really to get ahead in life, right? And there's nothing you can do in the current system to beat the money printer and the debt issuers. There's no amount of jobs you can have. There's no career change you can do that's gonna make you enough money to beat the rate at which the money is getting inflated. Okay, so it's very simple. Buy Bitcoin, take custody of your Bitcoin, and live your life. All right, so that is what we have for the show. Let's do some Q&A, some questions. You got questions, I have answers. I also have questions too if you guys don't have any questions. BTC Moon Guy says life gets cheaper on a Bitcoin standard, and I 100% agree. It's hard to visualize it if you're new to Bitcoin, and our minds are set up. We were born into the money system that the government set up for us. Okay, we don't know what it's like to have a thing to have money that actually stores the value that you think is going to be stored in it, let alone have money that's actually going to improve or appreciate, right? That's what money should be. Money should be a store of value, right? It's a place where you can store your economic work, right? So you turn your life force into economic energy, and then you basically are able to transact with that, right? But if the money is flawed, then you're never going to get ahead. So you have to start using a different kind of savings mechanism, right? And the best way to do it is through Bitcoin. Okay. All right. I know it's a crazy concept. That's just a little primer for you, Mark. And yeah, I'm here every day, slow and steady. We're learning. I've helped out a lot of people in my family, a lot of my friends, and I do this show specifically for people that don't understand anything about Bitcoin, and they're just kind of curious about it. You know, they heard about it, they don't know how it works, or maybe even worse, they heard about it in a negative way, like through I almost say lies and propaganda to make you think that Bitcoin is bad, that Bitcoin is used for criminals to do criminal things, right? Where like in reality, less than 1% of fraud and crimes are paid with Bitcoin. Way more crime is done with cash, right? And it's just a way for these big players, these big institutions, to control the narrative to make you think that Bitcoin is bad while they stack their bags, right? So like by the time the narrative gets around that they've been stacking and and now they're acquiring Bitcoin to the common person, by the time that news gets to the common person, it's too late. Those institutions already have way more Bitcoin, and the prices will be going up, and you'll be competing with them to purchase Bitcoin instead of just competing with other people and smaller groups, right? So the time to stack Bitcoin is now, right? You can start with as little as $10, $20, $50. Set your frequency, daily, monthly, weekly, whatever you feel comfortable with, okay? I guarantee that if you give up that expensive thing, maybe not even expensive, like maybe just like some people in the chat have given up their weekly sushi, right? Maybe your weekly cup of coffee from the Starbucks, right? That adds up, right? Brew your own coffee at home, buy the creamer in bulk, and stack that value in Bitcoin instead of drinking it in coffee, And slow and steady, as evident from our chart here, right? This is the whole point of doing this show, is I wanted to show you guys that if I can do it on the internet by starting with as little as $5 a day, even $10 a day is a minimum. I think $10 is the minimum on Swan. But buying $10 a day, no, it's true, Mark. You save buying fishing gear, right? And that's a great example. Let's talk about that for a second. You know, it's almost let's talk about that. So it becomes once you start to see it, and you start to look at numbers like this, even though this is just an example of me on the internet, we're 152 videos into this channel. 152 videos of me doing the same show, coming on here, talking a little bit about Bitcoin, and then putting my money where my mouth is, going on there, buying some SATS, stacking it, and tracking it, right? And what investment since since May 2023 is up 25%, right? And that's just our little example, right? And those numbers are a little bit skewed because I did a $1,000 buy-in when we hit episode 100. So it skewed the numbers a little bit, but we're up, right? What investment in 2023 was up that much, right? So when you say like buying fishing gear, yeah, it's tough. Like I learned how to repair my fishing gear. You know, maybe I don't need to fish 8 rods at once. Maybe I just fish 6 rods, or as my rods get broken or my setups get messed up, I'll just do what I can with what I have. And instead of buying another combo rod and reel today, right, with Bitcoin at, at $43,000, instead of spending $200 or $250 on a new rod and reel, a modest rod and reel setup, I take and I buy $250 worth of Satoshis, $250 worth of Bitcoin today. And then in the future, that $250 might be worth $500, $600, right? And now I can buy a rod and reel and still have Satoshis left over, right? Because I bought them so cheap, right? So same philosophy can go into, like, and I talk about this all the time. I apologize to guys that have been here before, and you guys hear this all the time. Hey, fishing is sacred to some people, right? So don't go for the jugular. Don't go and give up fishing or try to sell your fishing stuff. But you know what? There's other stuff in your house you don't use, right? If you're using your rods and reels and you need it to have a good experience, and you got your kayak or boat and your fishing rods and your reels and your fishing gear that you feel comfortable with and you enjoy fishing with on the water, more power to you. I have no problem with that. 100%, because it's going to make you a happier person, right? And that's good to go. But if you have stuff in your house that's just sitting there taking up space rent-free, right? It's potential SATs sitting there. Okay, so sell that stuff. Get that stuff on OfferUp. Even if you sell it a little bit cheaper than you think it's worth, right? If you have an item, let's say you have an item that you think is worth $100, right? And you put it on OfferUp and somebody offers you $90, and you're gonna be like, no, I'm just gonna hold off, and I'm not gonna sell it until somebody pays you $100. No, just sell it for $90, because in that time of you waiting to get the $100, when you could have had the $90, Bitcoin can go up 10 grand, and now that $90 will be more than $100, right? Like you'll end up, the opportunity cost of having that stuff sitting in the garage or in your space, taking up space, is more than there's a lot of gains there that can happen, right? There's a lot of Satoshis sitting there, right? And when they're sitting there in the form of whatever you have, like I recently sold an old mini fridge that was in my garage when I moved into the house, right? That's been sitting there forever, taking up space. And when I started to understand the whole mindset of how Bitcoin works and how saving in Bitcoin works, now I'm always on alert to, like, okay, well, this thing, I don't use it, I'm gonna get rid of it, because if I get rid of it, that's potential SATs for me, right? Potential SATs. that will appreciate over time, and it's just a good practice to have, right? You're gonna have more space in your place, less clutter, and more skin in the game when Bitcoin goes up. Yeah, there is a chance that Bitcoin could come down, right? And that's part of the market manipulation. That's part of like how these things work. But over time, if you look at any span of Bitcoin over 4 years, you'll see that it's always going up. There's times when it does come down, but if you can hold on and hold your coins through those downturns, then you'll be ahead of the game, because over time it'll continue to appreciate. So yeah, anyway, that's what I mean. It's not financial advice, of course, right? I'm just a guy on the internet that fishes a lot and reads a lot and watches a lot of podcasts, but that doesn't mean anything, right? You have access to the same information I have access to, right? But maybe you don't have the time to go through and watch all the things I've watched, but I'm here to kind of digest it for you and give you an idea of what's out there. You can now, once you have the idea in your head and the basics, it's your job to challenge me and to go out and do your own research and come back here and say, you know what, Roman, you are wrong. And I'm not gonna ban you. I'm not gonna insult you. I'm not even gonna get mad about it. I'm gonna say, okay, how am I wrong? Because if I'm wrong, I want to know, right? And if you figure something out about how Bitcoin is broken or is a bad idea, you bring it to me and we'll figure it out, because I would love to know. Because in all of my studying and all of my research I've done looking into Bitcoin, I've yet to find something broken with it. And if anything, the more you study Bitcoin, the more you realize that the real risk is having your wealth in anything else, including real estate, stocks, and of course cash. Okay, so with that, let's start this closing theme song out. But just like that, slow and steady, Bitcoin cost average at whatever frequency you feel comfortable with. And if you have any questions, ask me in the Discord or come back here on the live stream and ask me in the live stream. I love questions during the live stream. It gives me something to talk about. And if I don't know the answer, I will look it up. I will not BS you. I will tell you I don't know the answer. That's great. I'll come back the next day and answer that for you, or present to you what I found regarding your question. All right. So with that, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the SATS show. And remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. Mr. Android in the house, let's go. What's your question, Mr. Android? Go, ask. A little after the you have a question, Mr. Android? Did you already say it? All right. Well, bring it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Cheers, everybody. Have a good rest of the day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stack Friday, baby.